Hey, good morning. It is 8:19. And man, I missed 818 by 1 minute. Um Sorry. I just woke up like 5 minutes ago. I was texting a buddy that I wasn't able to do the road trip with. Um he messaged me and was like, "Hey, how's it going?" So I'm like, "Oh yeah, I should catch up with him." Um um Hmm. So it's day one. I guess no, it's technically day two because I got here. Um, like it was like a half day yesterday, so I guess it's officially day two, but it's a full day. So first how'd I sleep, and then I'll kind of cover the stuff yesterday because you know you guys have seen the night video or the night videos. Um, So, I'll cover that first and then I'll backtrack. So, the night video, I mean, as usual, new place, new energy. Something I think I need to do going forward is not schedule anything super like people intensive at the same time as me getting to um, whatever the new place is. Hangout's fine. Jesus. Oh, what? Uh, what was that? Okay, well, I'll look at that later. But anyway, Hangout's fine, but definitely it's like something like less people is really what it boils down to. Okay. So, um first off, uh I'm trying to think of okay. Bed was very comfortable. It's very soft. Uh so I'm pretty happy with it. Um Probably the most comfortable bed on this trip so far. So, um, yeah. Bedroom is fine. Having a fan above my head is kind of nice. Doing air circulation. Um, there are some supplies that I'm gonna need. Uh, so hopefully I'll be able to do that today. My buddy told me that they'd be willing to go to a store after work, which is really nice of them. So I'm like, okay, cool. Um, okay, now doing the backtrack stuff. Yesterday, oh my god, so much happened yesterday. I think that's also part of why I was so energy like overwhelmed because so much did happen. So I hinted a little bit at it, and I did talk about it a little bit, but checkout was fine. There was a bunch of red cardinals that were like flying around me. Or at least one that kept showing up, I guess. I say a bunch, but like I think that it was the same one. Well, I guess there was the females too, but the females aren't red. But they're still cardinals. But yeah, the cardinals kept flying over me, and so that was cute. The Uber driver was very nice. I talked to him about he was talking about working out and how he struggled to do the gym stuff. He's like, I don't know. There's something about the gym. I'm like, bro, you do not need the gym in order to work on your muscles. Um, and so I just explained to him, like, at home, you can do everything with a dumbbell effectively. Like, yeah, it's not perfect, but like, get a pair of fives and a pair of tens, and then um, just start doing like shoulder presses and the different exercises to like hit your shoulders and your back and whatever. And then you can do chest things with like push-ups, and so I just kind of gave him a rundown of like, don't be intimidated. You can do stuff from home, and you don't need a gym membership. You can also do it with the rubber bands. I say rubber bands, but like the elastic bands that you can do. Um, the main thing is just to make sure that they're not fraying at the edges. If they are, you need to change them out and get new ones because they could snap. So, yeah. Haha, I saw 717 this time. But anyway, so yeah, I just realized, I hope I wasn't covering the what's it called? I still don't know on my phone where the sound is, like where the microphone is coming from. Which is kind of ridiculous. I don't know if it's the bottom or the sides. But anyway, so yeah, that was a fun little chat on the way. Then I got to the airport, and at the airport, there was someone who, well, first of all, I sat down and, okay, well, before I sat down, I ate. And I ate what can only be described as an attempt at a omelet. Um, because I say attempt because it really was just scrambled eggs in a omelet, in an unfolded omelet shape. So just a pan. It was just literally just a pan of eggs scrambled that were put together. Well, I say scrambled. Yeah, I mean it's like it was just a pan of eggs, and then on top of it they put like what the fuck's it? It was like I couldn't tell. I think there was bacon in it, and then some sort of ground meat, I think. I was like, oh my god, like what the fuck is this? This is nothing like what I imagined this to be. Um, I don't know. I just expected there to be vegetables, and I expected it to be folded, and it wasn't. And I'm like, okay. Um, was fine. It tasted good, but like, I got a side of fruit. And the fruit there was better than any of the cups of fruit I had at the grocery stores. So, is what it is. Um, I also had a side of toast, and that toast was very good. And I realized how it was so good. It was so good because they buttered both sides, and the butter seeped through the whole toast. So it was so much butter that it seeped through. And the person who did the toast probably did like stacks of this toast on top of each other, buttered one side, and then put it on top, and then the butter would seep in through both sides. Um, that's kind of how I imagine that you'd do something like that. Otherwise, it was, Jesus, 11, 12, like, I don't know. I gotta remember to check in on um, barely missing divine numbers or angel numbers or whatever. Um, but anyway, so then I sat down, listened to some stuff. I was there 2 hours early, so you know, pretty much empty. Listened to some videos, some readings and stuff, and then afterwards, I can only describe this as I don't know if it was me just looking for the potential like opportunity or something, but like there was one person that sat I had got up at one point to like walk around and use the restroom, and when I got back, my seat was taken, and I was like, okay, well, whatever. I could sit somewhere else, but I decided to stand, because I didn't want to like be too like locked in on seating, because then my legs would feel like sore from sitting too much. Anyway, regardless, I ended up seeing this person who I can only describe as okay, I'll just say it. She looked an awful lot like the person from New York, and it looked like she had her glasses and like it was like she okay, I'll just it was like it looked like the person she looked like the person from New York, but it looked like she had a disguise on. That's all I can say. And I was like, what the fuck? Why do I get that feeling? It was so weird. I don't know. It could be wishful thinking or whatever. And then, um, I just sat there or stood there, um, and I could tell when she lined up. She lined up in, I think the second wave of people. I could tell that at some point we had like locked eyes, even though like I don't know. It was a weird thing, and I looked away, and I did like just that because I was like, well, if this is the same person, seeing a smirk would totally like do something. So I smirked, and then kind of just looked away, and I could definitely feel like my like chakras were like getting more activated. I felt really like it's like, yeah, I am me. Woo. I don't know. It was a weird little moment there. Um, and then I didn't see the person again the entire flight. Like I walked past every single row because I was way in the back. Like I was like 23 or something. Yeah, I was like 23A. So I had a window seat, but I didn't see that person like at all. And I'm like, what the fuck? Um and so I was really confused because I was like I saw her get on the plane, but she wasn't there. Um and then the person I sat next to was this woman who I had a bizarre experience with her. I say bizarre, but it was like, how do I describe this without it sounding weird? Um, okay, so I talked about it a little bit in the night thing, um, but I'm gonna like lay it out on like what I felt. Um, and I'll just say it. This, I mean, yeah. Oh God, this is kind of just weird feeling just talking about this, but I'm just gonna say it anyway. So before the plane took off, I was doing some meditation. Uh, well, okay, first I should do this in order. Sorry. So I got to my seat and I was like, "Hey," she was in the middle seat. I was like, "Hey, I think my seat's over there." And she got up and I was like, "Thank you," and sat down. And it was kind of like, normal stuff. And I could tell she was very quiet and like reserved to herself. I was like, okay, cool. She seems very vibe based, and so I'm just gonna do my thing. And we briefly like said a few words, but that was it. We were both like fine with that. So then the guy that's to her right um sits down, and he starts trying to like chat her up, and a few times it was like, well, okay. I say he starts trying to chat her up. He said like one thing, but then afterwards uh there was a flight attendant who had a bag, and they were raising the bag above their head and walking around looking for someone. And she raises her hand and is like, "Hey, it's me," but didn't say anything. And so I'm like pointing at her. I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." Like whatever she needs, like there's something that she needs. And it's actually the lady's like, "Oh, you left your bag." Um and we got it and picked it up for you. And she's like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so embarrassed. Thank you." And it was really funny. And so the guy's like, I don't know, he says something about the bag, and she's like mortified. I can tell she's like mortified that this even happened, and it feels like the guy's kind of rubbing salt on the wounds. Um, and I just kind of like smirk and chuckle a little bit, but like that's it. Um, and anyway, the guy the guy tries to like chat her up a few times throughout the plane thing. Um, it was like once before, and then as we're about to like land, he tries to mention the like bag incident again. He's like, don't forget your bag this time. Like, and she was just kind of like, yeah, thanks. Like, I don't know. It was just a weird, awkward set of interactions that I noticed with her and him, where it's like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Like, he definitely was trying to like start a conversation, but she was shutting it down energetically, so it just didn't happen. And I noticed it. But yeah, so what ended up happening is, as the plane is like getting ready to take off and everything, you know, ever since the New York trip, whenever I'm on like a subway or a train or um on a plane, I will like do some meditation and like picture the the team, the spirit team slash angels, to like be like blessing the plane or the whatever, and like all the passengers on it, and like it's like it's a thing. I just do it. I don't know if it actually does anything. I feel energetically like it is, but I don't know. And something that I was getting, and I don't know if this was just in my head or not, so that's why it's like it feels weird. Um, I kind of instinctually felt like there was some sort of anxiety that the person next to me, the woman, that she was having. May not be about the plane. It could be, I don't know. Um, it could have been about something totally different or whatever. But but energetically I felt like she needed some comfort a little bit. And so all I can describe it as is like giving her like energetic comfort. I'll just say that. And when I did that, I felt somewhere else in the plane someone being annoyed. And I just knew it was like, it just felt like it was the person that that I thought was like could be the New York person. And so I'm like, okay, well, I'll comfort you too. So comforts that person as well, wherever they are. Um, and it was weird. It was like it was very weird. Every time I like energetically comforted the person next to me, there was like this like hey, What the heck? And I'm like, okay, well, you get comforted too. Um, I don't know. It was so weird. And so like, yeah, it was bizarre. And then towards the end there, I started like in my head thinking like, well, I mean, like if you're someone who is supposed to be interacting with me, why didn't you fucking interact with me? you know? Uh so that's kind of like towards the end there, I was like, whatever. But anyway, so yeah, it almost felt like teasing towards the end there. But again, it was like all energetically, and I'm like, how does this even work? Like, I can't, like, there's no physical like signs that I could feel at the time as to like what's happening. But what I will say is the person next to me, I don't know if the person normally sleeps. I don't know if she normally sleeps on planes. But damn, she was able to sleep on the plane almost the entire trip. And it's only an hour and a half on in the air, but like, yeah, she was able to just sleep. And she leaned like onto my side. Like, not like, what I mean by that is like, she didn't actually like lean onto me or anything like that, but it was like she definitely was staying as far away from the guy on the right as she could. Um, and it was very much like we were basically like, it, like, I tried to give her as much space as possible. She definitely was like I couldn't give her more space without being uncomfortable. But like, I mean, I could just tell that the energetic like comfort that I was trying to give her translated into like her being more comfortable being um on my side rather than the other guy's side. Um and again, it there wasn't anything weird about it. It was just like I could just tell from like an energetic standpoint. And my kind of um my feeling about like this energetic thing was kind of like proven correct when after the guy left, um she like we started talking while we were waiting for the plane to disembark, because I think the guy on the right had like a connecting flight or something, so uh, they were letting people who had connecting flights get off early, or first. And so she was like mentioning something about that, and then that's how we started talking. And yeah, we like had a decent conversation. I got to know about her. Um, she's doing her own little circuit of like visiting and doing stuff, and yeah, it was cool. She seems very chill. Good vibes. And yeah, so then that was it. And I'm like, okay, cool. I ended up standing outside the gate for a little bit because I was like trying to figure out like an Uber thing, and then I was like, oh shit, I gotta get my bag. So I get my bag and I figure out the Uber thing, and then I'm standing in the wrong spot for the Ubers. And so then I go to the right spot for the Ubers, and lo and behold, she's standing there waiting for an Uber as well. And she's like, "Oh hey," and I was like, "Oh hey, fancy meeting you here. You getting an Uber as well?" And she's like, "Yeah." Um, so then we started chatting again, and yeah, it was like my Uber got there a little bit earlier than her Uber, so I said bye, and she's like, "Hey, it was nice like meeting and talking to you," and um, yeah, it was nice. So technically we could run into each other. Uh, who actually knows if that's gonna happen? But like, she was very nice. So I'm glad I had that interaction. But like, this was when I had that moment of like, oh, the energetic the understanding of like energy and like that comforting feeling I was sending. I think it did translate over um, in some way. And, I it's very easy to like think that you're reading too much into something or whatever. I just the internal vibe I got was that um she felt comfortable like interacting with me. And I haven't had in the past that has not been a thing for me. And it's not because I think a lot of it has to do with the like vibes I was giving off in the past of like not wanting to interact with people and kind of like being very like caught up in my own stuff. And I think energetically people can feel that. And there's also the body language and there's the like, whatever else, right? But I don't know. There's something there that I've kind of understood. And I don't know. I can't really describe it any other way than just like I know what I felt, and logic doesn't really make sense here. um because yeah, I can't logically dissect it. And this has happened so many times at this point, throughout this trip and just in general, that it's like yeah, there is an energy component that I am tapping into that I can feel that I used to not really even understand was there, that I was subconsciously reading. But now it's like, yeah, there is an energy component that I can feel. It is real, and it is like changing the dynamics of people. that I interact with. And again, I'm not trying to like manipulate energy in some sort of like fucked up way. It's more of like I read the energy, and at most it's like trying to send like comfort to someone. Um like what I did with the woman, right? Um and it's again, it's not for any nefarious purposes. It's just like, oh, if I feel like someone needs comfort, I'll just send them some comfort. Like, that's it. um Again, um another one of those energy things was the what's it called, the movie theater, where we were laughing and enjoying the movie, and it wasn't just a physical enjoyment. There was like an energetic enjoyment where it was like we were exchanging energy back and forth, and it was like good vibes. And I wouldn't have picked up on that in the past. And we walked out of the theater like we came in together, even though we came separately. But it was like so natural. It was super natural, and I was like, wow. Um, and again, you can't really explain it with logic, because you can't, like, it's not something that you can like replicate. It was just like an energetic thing. Um, I'm trying to think. The like the smirk from New York was another energetic thing where it's like, yeah, it was a look, and that was it. But there was like energy transfer, and like there was like a lot of like communication going on there that like you can't logically describe. Um, I'm trying to think of other instances where this happened. Um, those are the three instances like that I can think of off the top of my head. Um, but yeah, so why am I like putting a lot of stock into this? Well, it's telling me that the interactions I'm having are not just physical and mental. There's like an energetic component that I just can feel. Um anyway, so that all happens. And so I'm processing that while going to this food restaurant on the Uber. And Uber guy's really nice. He mentioned a few things that I should look out for. I like fuck up my thumbnail, um, because I tried to hurry and rush and put the bags in, and then it just like, I don't know, it just fucked up. And this is the second time rushing something has kind of hurt my thumb specifically. The first time was the seatbelt, where I was trying to rush to get the seatbelt on, and then I ended up cutting out that large section. I say large section. I mean, it's basically healed at this point, but like that section of my thumb. Um, but yeah, geez, I really do need to slow down, even if it feels like there's a rush happening. And again, I felt it from an energetic standpoint where it was like, it wasn't just a physical thing. It's like suddenly I felt like the pressure that there was like a lady who is she was walking around strutting her stuff, directing traffic, and she was very like animated. I was like, oh, she's so good at her job. But like, yeah, I heard her in the background, like, all right, hurry up, da da da, whatever. And I know it wasn't necessarily directed at me, but like, I totally got swept up in that energy. I was like, oh my gosh, like, I gotta hurry up. Um, and it was like, I just totally was not prepared for that energetic like exchange going on, where it was like she was sending the energy of you guys need to hurry the fuck up, but it wasn't us specifically. It was just she was sending that to everyone. Um, and so I get to the food place. It's an Italian restaurant. I'm not going to eat there again. The food was good with an asterisk. Um, because I felt like I had a huge like knot or like stone in my stomach after eating there. It was so heavy and like, I don't know. I I think they had like stuffed mushroom with like a little like meat thing inside of it. Um, it was very good. And then I had an Alfredo, um, fettuccine Alfredo, and it was fine, but effectively I was just putting noodles into me, noodles and like a fettuccine Alfredo sauce. And I understand that's what fettuccine Alfredo is, but I don't know. It was like underwhelming. Um, so the mushrooms were definitely the better of the two items. Um, but yeah, I don't know. Um, I mean, to be fair, like I'm glad that I ate there, but like I'm probably not going to go back because I think there's a lot of good food out here. Um, and that was decidedly like fine, but yeah. um, okay. So I did that, and then I walked 15 minutes to the new place, and this place, first of all, I like fucked up and went the wrong way, um, down half a street, and then I'm like, oh my god, okay, and then I came back and I did the other thing, because the streets were weird, like they weren't like perfectly like four-way stop. It was like if someone just said YOLO to the roads and they were just in all sorts of weird directions, and I'm like, well, okay, this is this is interesting. Um so I get there, I open the door, everything seems fine, and then I do an inspection of the place, and I'm like, wow, this is actually huge. This place is huge. Um, I'm definitely going to use there's like a like living room area that looks really comfortable to like do things in. So I'm probably going to use that to like do editing and all, I'll do like recording videos with my bigger camera. So you guys will get bigger camera stuff later in the day. I might even not do these bed vlog things with my phone because it would feel like a waste not to use the space. And there's like a fridge, a full kitchen. It's like it's great. However, the thing I thought was going to be here, I don't see a washer dryer, and I'm like, maybe there isn't a washer dryer here. So I have to go look to see. And I can't figure out how to look at the amenities on the place. And I'm sure it's just something really silly that I'm just not doing. But anyway, I thought I could have swore there was a washer dryer, and I just like am missing it. But like, yeah, so I looked everywhere. It doesn't seem to be the case unless it's like shared at the bottom or something in like the basement or whatever. Which is very possible. I don't know. So I'll have to figure it out. But luckily I do have um several sets of clothes that are clean still. I will run out before the trip this part of the trip is over, so I will have to do laundry at some point. I don't know when. It'll probably be like Thursday. Is it either Thursday or Friday? But especially because I took a shower after I got here. I felt so gross, and I'm so glad I did because man, the mornings are always get me. But okay. So yeah, I felt so gross, but like I'm so glad I did because the play like had so many people, and if I would have felt gross going to this play, like I would have had a hard time. um anyway, so then my friend picked me up, and I totally forgot about. Well, I didn't forget, but like I forgot to like say this. So the friend shows up and is like, "Hey, I'm here," and I'm like, "Great." So I come to the door and I try to pull it closed, and the fucking door handle falls out. I'm like, "What?" Like, I'm just in utter shock at the fact that I just pulled the door handle out from seemingly normal like amount of strength to pull the door closed. I'm like, what the fuck? So I put it back and I try it again, and it's just popping out. And I'm like, what do I do with this? So I messaged the Airbnb person. I'm like, hey, here's a picture of your door handle that fell out. What do I do? And they're like, can you tie a string or something like to pull the door closed? And then we'll have guys come in tomorrow to like fix it. And I'm like, okay. So I got dental floss and I pulled, and it didn't work. And I'm like, I'm starting to like freak out a little bit. I'm like, oh my God, like, what do I do? I can't just like leave it unlocked. Um, and finally, the what's it called? Um, the fuck am I trying to say here? Oh, right. Okay. My friend shows up because I text my friend. I'm like, hey, uh, this happened. Can you help? I don't understand. I don't know what to do. So they show up, and then we have this awkward like trying to figure out the door thing and like walking around it and like trying to get it closed, and we ended up getting it closed with teamwork, mainly the friend was like very resourceful, um and I'm like, well, thanks, this is such an awkward way to meet, but hey, we have finally met in person. They're like, yeah, this is cool. So it was like, I don't know. It was really funny. So we go to the play. The play was um, good. Definitely, the friend was talking about how, like, well, this is kind of boring. The first half was like boring a little bit, and the intermission basically they tend to leave during intermission. I don't know, it's like an impulse or something. So I'm like, okay, well, today we're not going to do impulses. We're going to stay. Um, Now, I do hope that the friend enjoyed the the play. They said on the way after the play was over that they did enjoy it. Um, but I don't know. I will say that the like storyline was kind of weird. But yeah, it was man. Okay. Yeah, the storyline was kind of all over the place, but that's fine. Also, I think the main thing, it was so hard to hear the individual words during songs and whatnot that, like, I don't know, they needed to, like, boost the mics of the people singing in some way, because it was like 50 to 60% of the time I just didn't know what the fuck they were saying, and I just kind of had to, like, guess. So, also, the only other thing that was kind of a big, like, oh my god, please stop. The lights were perfectly positioned to fuck everyone in the row that we were sitting in. It was just blasting us directly. Whenever they did any, like, strobe light stuff or any light work that involved, like, moving the lights around, they just hit us in the eyes repeatedly. And I was like, please stop. Um, so there was that. And then they also did the like they did a lot of flashing lights, which I just closed my eyes for. I'm sorry, I do not want to like deal with flashing lights right now because I was already energetically overwhelmed. And so I'm just like, oh my goodness, like the sensory overload is happening. And I act so saying these things, it sounds like this wasn't very good, but it actually was good. It was just I'm just pointing out the things that like I was like a little overwhelmed about, or underwhelmed. Um, the main lead, very good voice. I mean, a lot of them had good voices, but the main lead definitely, I enjoyed seeing her up there. Um, yeah, she did very good. Um, I mean, I will say all of the cast did really really good. Um, but yeah, anyway, so um yeah, so I mean we did that. I can feel I can't really describe the energy other than it was just a conglomeration of so many people at that event that it just like I couldn't even tell what I was feeling. It was like a torrent. Um and I know it wasn't my energy, so it was like really easy to see. It was a giant fucking torrent of energy that I was like, okay, I'm just gonna let pass me by. I'm not collecting any of this energy because holy shit, there was so much there. Um, the actual venue was so beautiful. Like the theater has it's so cool. They have these huge ceilings and all of the like intricate detail and carvings and oh, it was so cool. I'm so glad I got to see it. Uh, but yeah, it kind of so at the I mentioned how like the theater like room where we were watching the play, uh, the main room felt like a boss room. It's that epic, like from like a Final Fantasy boss or something. Those big like it's the final boss and they have like the crazy music going on and you're in this epic hall or epic whatever and that's what it felt like. And then the like entryway reminded me of like a what's it called? It reminded me of a like mini boss battle room. Like okay, you fight like you know the like mini bosses before you fight the final boss. Um, but yeah, it was really cool. Glad I got to see it. Glad I experienced it. The play itself was good too. I talk about the issues, but like it was fun. Um, and yeah, so we end up heading back, and um, the my friend works until like 5 basically throughout the whole week. So we'll only really be able to hang out um, late in the day, which is fine. But like that's kind of there's that. I might be able to get a chance to meet some of the. So I had played some games with their friend group, and the friend group like lives here. So I'm like, oh, that would be really cool to actually meet the people I was playing the games with. Um, and so they invited me. Where they were like, hey, if you're interested, you could come and do like a thing. I'll have to ask them, but like, um, so that would be cool. It's either once or maybe twice. I don't know yet. The plans are still very like embryonic in their stage, so we'll see. But yeah, very fun. And today is the only day that rain has existed, um, and probably will exist throughout the trip. Now, I don't know if it's actually raining now. I heard it raining last night, so we'll see. But today I'm going to be a homebody because I have to wait for the repair guy. I am not leaving the house with a fucked up like door like that. I did it last night because it was like there was no other real option there. It's like cancel the whole event or leave. And I was like, I'm not gonna let fear fuck me out of this like fun experience. So yeah. It was like it felt like we were like, all right, we got some bubble gum and tape and we're keeping the door handle together, but like, I don't need to worry about that now. I'm here. So, and I got stuff to do. Like I have to upload today or yesterday and the day before's videos. So I got to do that, and I might film some other stuff. I don't know. We'll see. Man, I've already been talking an hour. This is crazy. Back to the really long vlogs. So yeah, I think it was really fun, and I might be able to do some grocery shopping today after they get off work. So yeah. And then I also just randomly, so the friend that I was gonna go 5 hours to go and visit, which, here's the thing. I obviously would have gone to go visit him. It's just like that trip would have been pretty rough. A 10-hour like back and forth. That's a total of 10 hours. It felt very rushed. However, I still think it would be fun to like go and visit him. So I'm like, okay, well, what if I, because he ended up messaging me this morning, checking in, and I was like, okay, well, why don't I ask if he's interested in me just randomly showing up after I do the Long Island stuff, because I don't have a return trip yet, so I could just tack on an extra week. Like that's not a big deal to me. So yeah. I don't know on the specifics on that, but yeah. Again, embryonic stages there. So anyway, I'm gonna go. I need to use the restroom and get ready for the day, so I guess I will talk to you later. Bye. Hello. It is 12:47, and I'm just doing a video real quick because like I was just like, oh, there's some thunderstorms, whatever. Just looks like a little bit of rain. No, actually, apparently it's like severe thunderstorm warning, and then the fucking sirens just randomly started going, and I'm like, well, what the fuck do I do? And apparently it's like, oh, yeah, that's, you go to your basement when you hear that. I'm like, oh, okay. which I found the washer dryer. It's in the basement. Who would have guessed? Didn't even know that there was this kind of basement here. So, I think it's a shared basement. I don't fucking know. But regardless, yeah, I'm the only one here. The friend was like, yeah, most people just don't even fucking go into the basement. And I'm like, okay. So apparently until like 1:15, the warning's in effect. But yeah, this is definitely, it's totally a new experience for me. And I added myself to the I don't even know if I did it right because I haven't gotten any texts or anything, but I added myself. What is that noise? I added myself to the little warning group, local group or whatever that got linked. So but yeah, I don't know. So, I've never had to deal with tornadoes specifically. So, I think I heard another siren warning. I don't know. At this point, my ears might be playing tricks on me, but I'm going to wait until 1:15. Then I'll pop back up, assuming that everything's fine. Like, obviously, I don't hear the sirens anymore, so. But yeah, I don't know. Kind of weird. So, I'm just seeing what happens. The hell did I end up bringing with me? Of all the things, I was just like, I don't know what I do. And I fucking brought my camera. I have my headphones and my phone, but like, in my wallet. But like, what a ridiculous scenario. So yeah, new segment, Basement Tom. If anything, I'm glad that I found the washer dryer, so that's cool. Now I understand. I was like, why is the repairman not willing to come out today? He said tornado, the tornado possibility. Oh, tornado watch has been issued for the city of St. Louis. Hold on. I don't know. I'm gonna pause, read that, and then come back. Hello, it is 8:11, and I wanted to make a video. Okay. So I did the morning video, and then we had Like, I literally got, like, completely caught off guard by the sudden tornado warning stuff. Um, it didn't even cross my mind that, like, St. Louis could totally get tornadoes. Or at least tornado warnings. And storms, like really bad thunderstorms and, whatever. Hail and high winds and all of that stuff. And so, yeah, I was literally like, what the fuck do I do? um, and, I told my friend, and my friend's like, oh, well, do this, this, and that, and sign up for this thing. And then I did like a tarot thing later in the day, and then it got cut off by another like siren. And I was like, oh my god, like, is this how it is all the time? Like, what the fuck? And then I was watching well, I'll get to that in a second. I was watching the tornado warning stuff. There was like a live coverage of there was a guy that on YouTube does like live coverage of this stuff. And he seems really knowledgeable and is like tracking it, and he has like cam footage from a bunch of different people, a bunch of like tornado chaser / storm chaser people. And yeah, it was interesting to like watch as things unfolded. And yeah, most of the stuff, I think for the most part, I think this area is like basically in the clear. I think the big thing is that last little bit of like thunderstorms and whatnot, but yeah, all the storms seem to have passed over the area that I'm at, which is obviously great. And this is kind of a real-time live kind of thing of like, how do I respond to like potential emergency stuff or whatever. And it kind of made me realize that I really should have like in my pack some basic emergency supply stuff. I have that first aid kit that I got, but like, having like a flashlight and like, just some basic stuff. Like, yeah, my phone can be a flashlight, but having a dedicated flashlight with batteries would be nice. And what the fuck is that? It's like a little baby ass fucking fly thing. Okay, well, sorry, guy. Okay, well, it's dead. I feel really bad about doing that, but I kind of just don't want it, like, I don't know what it was, but I don't want it to be, like, near me when I'm sleeping or, bed or whatever. Main thing is I just don't know what a lot of the, like, insects and stuff, like, what the telltale signs of that is. Saw 444. Seen a lot of 444 today, and 444, 222, 111. Oh, no, actually, I don't think too much of 111, but 444 and 222. Jesus Christ. Okay, that was just someone flushing the toilet. I freaked out for a second because I heard this massive, like, water rush. I think another thing is like it'd be nice to have some basic food here. So tomorrow I want to go and get food at a grocery store. Also, my friend had like some sort of emergency with a family member, and it's like, so their availability is very up in the air now. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like flood advisory until 10:30 p.m. Okay. But yeah, so it was like the buddy asking if I wanted to go to the store last night. It's so interesting thinking about like if I would have accepted the offer, I would have had some extra like food and supplies and stuff here that would have probably made me less worried about like food and all of this other stuff. So I might have like been a bit different, but it's a whole thing. But anyway, the big thing that I am gonna be doing the trivia on Wednesday, which is cool. I'm probably just gonna sit there and just like watch, but well, no. I will participate even if I'm not unsure. What's that sound? Huh. Kind of sounded like dripping water. I mean, it might be dripping water, but I don't. I think it's in the pipes or something. Anyway. So, also got the door fixed. The guy that, he just kind of YOLO'd his way over here. He's like, I'll just come here before the storm. And I'm like, bro, this is crazy that you're out here with potential tornado warnings near where you live. But yeah, he ended up getting the door fixed, and that was great. I say fixed, it's kind of like more of a temporary fix. It's like totally usable throughout the week. I might get like some stickers or something to plug the little hole, but yeah, it's like it's totally usable now. It's fine. So I'm not worried about locking the door or whatever. Anyway, so that's done, and then I probably should text my sister. Just let her know, like on the off chance that there was a tornado of some kind or whatever. Just let her know that it's possible. But so, a friend of mine, the friend that I was going to go meet, that's like a 5-hour like trip that my buddy that previously I was hanging out with that got into the car accident. We were supposed to go meet up with this guy, and so the thing is, I guess he started watching the channel, and so he like messaged me and was like, "Hey, I'm kind of worried about you." And I was like, "Oh yeah, no, I'm fine. Just doing my thing, like trusting my intuition and whatever." And he was like, bro, I'm really concerned because this gives me suicide vibes. I was like, what? It's uh like how? Um like I'm trying to even think of like how that's like it's interesting that someone would think that. I think the main thing is the like depends on what videos he watched, right? Because if he watched the like um there are some days when I am like sad or going through like a moment, and because I'm filming it and recording it, it's like I think sometimes it will skew people towards thinking, well, that's like how he always is. Which, I film it because I'm trying to help you guys in understanding that like it's okay to have like panic attacks or whatever and working through them as opposed to just hiding from them or trying to run away from them. You can do a lot of like healing doing it. It just takes a lot of courage to kind of work through it in the moment. Um, but yeah, anyway. But he was talking about how it was like that plus like the videos plus the fact that I'm doing this like travel thing to like different friends, and I'm like I can totally see where if you don't watch my content consistently or you haven't been watching from the beginning or you just cherry pick random videos because there's a fucking lot of content, so I don't expect people to watch every single bit of content, right? um Hell, it's hard for me to watch all the content. Like, I've been like starting to just skip through videos because I just don't have enough time in the day to do like 3 or 4 hours recording, then watch the 3 or 4 hours of recording and do the like other stuff I want to do throughout the day. So it's like, I kind of have to sacrifice somewhere. And I know what I'm saying. So as long as I can kind of like I'll skip through it and I'll be like, oh yeah, okay, I remember that. I went through this, I went through that. Okay, yeah. Um so yeah, doing that. But anyway, obviously I'm really happy that he reached out and wanted to check in on me, and um yeah, it means a lot. I think seeing something you don't understand, it makes sense to try and logically determine, well, what is the reason that this person is acting the way they are, and then just mapping it to whatever is closest that logically makes sense. And I think that's just what he did. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think especially for people who, I don't know um his thoughts on like spirituality and all of that stuff. Come to think of it, I don't know. I don't know most of my friends' perspectives on the spirituality stuff that I'm visiting or have visited, and I've kind of just found out as I'm there. And I'll just say it has taken a lot of courage for me to just be as out there with my like the things that I'm going and doing or whatever. And I kind of hope that I'm not like freaking anyone out. But if I am, then most likely I shouldn't really be interacting with that person if that's the case, because it's kind of like I've been fidgeting with this thing and I'm like, I need to stop. Okay, so yeah, I don't know. It's like, well, I mean, I sent my buddy that was checking in on me, I sent him a long message as a response. So we'll see what he thinks. You know, I've clarified, like, nope, I'm definitely not suicidal. I don't have any, like, suicidal ideation. I'm actually very happy. It's just I'm growing. And it's like, growing sometimes is tough, even if it's positive growth and it's from a positive perspective. It's something where as you grow, there's growing pains in all directions. So it's like, yeah, that just makes sense. And for people who don't see the different stages, it'll look strange. I kind of think, you know, something I probably should do, and I'm going to put this on the back burner in my mind and kind of figure out when I'm going to do it, but I think I should make some sort of like recap over the like for each month, do like a recap video. Day 1 to 30 recap, day 31 to 60 recap, so on and so forth. Because for people that show up and are like, there's no way I'm watching, you know, 200 hours of content from this person or 150 hours of content from this person. Having a recap of like what happened would probably be helpful. I don't know what that's going to look like. And I don't know how I would even make those. So I think it's worth pursuing though. Because just having some sort of concise video that I can point to, preferably something that's like less than an hour long, like, you know, 30 minutes would be ideal, but you know, it'll be however long it's going to be, right? But something short. The fact that I think 30 minutes is short is so funny. My videos have just gotten out of control with like size sometimes, but yeah, you know, taking some time to just sit down and do like, okay, here's a recap of the first month or whatever, and then I can just point to it and say, here's a recap. And you know, if you don't want to, if you want to be very casual about watching my content, just watch the recap, no problem. Then you'll get a gist of like what happened, and you're gonna miss a lot of nuance. And here's the thing, my content is all about nuance. That is like the bread and butter of my content, is nuance. Everything builds on itself. And so the more content you've seen, the more you will get a picture of what's actually happening. The less content you've seen, the more like confused you might be on like if you just watch a random video, like, oh, you just watched today's video. It's like, what the fuck is going on here? And so it's like, yeah, especially if you watch a video that's like me having like some sort of like thing that I'm working through, and so I'm talking about it and explaining it and kind of like, whatever. It just won't make sense. And you'll be rightfully concerned because you're like, okay, well, if this is all that this person puts out as content like this, what the fuck, So, so yeah, I think I'm gonna have to really think about like some form of recap. I also kind of think that, and this might be like an asshole way of thinking about it, but honestly, I don't care. There is a lot that I have kind of said where if you've been following the journey in some capacity, you will start to glean information that I just say as the content is like happening. That I think is really profound. I think it's like when I'm randomly interacting with people, it happens all the time where I'll say something and I realize, oh, that was actually like really important in the moment. And that just kind of happens with a lot of my content where sometimes I'll be just talking about something and then I'll go into detail on like, oh yeah, I probably should talk about this. So then I say like my perspective on something and then I'll move on and continue. So it's like there's a lot of stuff buried in and amongst the like daily stuff. And for the people who take the time to kind of watch a lot of the content, especially in this early period, like I think in the later periods, yeah, there's going to be more transformations and stuff like coming up, but a lot of that early, the first like 30 to 60 days, that stuff is going to be really helpful for a lot of people because it's just showing the transformation of like, facing your fears and kind of working through things, making realizations and kind of talking about my thought process at the time. And you get to see the transformation. So for people who take the time, they will get a lot of benefit out of watching it. And my content's not meant to be accessible. If I wanted to do like 30-second TikTok clips of phrases that I say, I could totally do that. I could probably hire someone to filter through and find like a bunch of stuff, or I could just film it and do it, right? But that's not my content. And my content's not really meant to be accessible in that way. It's meant to be something where you watch it, and things will appear as you're watching it organically, because that's just how it works with me. So, and I'll try to do more targeted content over time, like what I did a little bit earlier on with like the past stuff, and like the love video, and the this and the that and whatever. And I think that content is probably going to hit a more broad audience of like people who are like, okay, I just want to see the shadow work stuff. Well, okay, great. There's the Wizard Path 4 videos. Go watch it. Right? And that's it. You don't have to watch any of the other content. Obviously, the other content would be helpful and supplementary, but if you just want like, okay, how do I do this? Okay, go watch that, right? So I don't know, like I really want this to feel like we're just talking and vibing. And if you learn something, great. If you don't, well, I don't know what to tell you. Maybe by you not learning something that tells you more about yourself than needs to be said, Not saying that, there are people who already know all the things that I'm saying. It's very possible. They're few and far between, I think. But it's possible. So, anyway. But, I just kind of wanted to get back real quick to something I've learned today. The tornado stuff totally could have happened. But I can't control if a tornado happens or not, right? All I can do is be prepared and then go about my day. And I just let the tornado take a lot of the day. Of like worrying about, is it going to show up? Totally changing the way I do things. And like, there was a lot of moments of like, okay, like I've repacked everything because I was worried. Now I'm going to have to unpack things. But like, it also made me kind of think about like, what is actually, if I had to just pick up and take one thing, what would it be? And it's like, oh, it's actually the duffel bag that I have, that the carry-on has all the most important stuff. And so that was cool, because I'm like, oh yeah, basically as long as I have a laptop, chargers, my extra battery pack, and the first aid kit and stuff, like that's all I really need. Then I have a switch in the side and some other stuff, but like I can function with just that one duffel bag if need be. I have to buy new clothes and other stuff, but like, yeah, that's not a big deal. So yeah, I think to kind of close it out, it's been another learning experience on what to be prepared for, and kind of like how to realistically handle something like that. because, it wasn't something I've ever had to deal with. So I didn't know how seriously I should be taking it. And, the answer is, yeah, you should take it seriously, but you also shouldn't let it control your decision making, right? So, like, imagine if I had earlier in the day gone out and done things. Now, to be fair, there was the door stuff, and that was a whole other side thing. So I'm not worrying too much about today because I already planned on it being a nothing day where I just rest. But that doesn't mean that I should let the entire day go to waste. And I don't think I did, but yeah. Oh, and just a side thing. I say this because I know that I talk, relatively slow. I think my content is it's very easy to put it at 2 times speed and be totally fine listening to me. I did that and I was like, man, I wish I could go faster sometimes, because I listen to things very, very fast in speed. Basically all my YouTube videos that I listen to is 2 times speed. But other stuff I go at like 2.5 or 2.6 or whatever. But like books and whatnot. Although I have slowed down a little bit because I kind of like enjoying the book. So 2 speed is like kind of a good middle ground for me if I want to enjoy it but not have to like actively be like processing things too fast. So anyway, point is I think my content is like very doable at 2 times speed. I just realized I might have fucked up the mic again. I don't know. I had it propped on my shirt. Anyway. Well, we'll know. We'll know a little bit later when I edit this if the audio quality is muffled or not. So if it is, sorry guys. Didn't mean to do that. Okay. I'm tired. And I want to brush my teeth, and I still have a sandwich, a banh mi, in my fridge, so I think I want to... I'm not sure if I'm going to eat that or not, because it was kind of... There's some weird, like, reflux thing going on. I don't know. Also, they totally gave me the wrong... part of the wrong order for a side. I was like, well, I did not order wontons. I ordered something totally different, but whatever. So I'm not eating those. I do not like wonton, the little cheese curd things in the middle. Not a fan of those. Or it's like some like a ragu cheese thing. I just don't want to eat cheese, so. Oh, anyway. Okay, I'm really going. Yeah. So I guess look forward to the recap videos for those of you that are looking for recaps because there's so much content. So, yep. Okay, bye.